The following is an original audio series from Sierra International Machinery, Pile of Scrap, with your host, John Sacco.
Welcome, thank you for joining me. You've got some exciting news about being president. You've had this passion. It's something you want to do. Why don't you share with us what you got for us?
Yes, so I was very fortunate to be elected President of BIR last May. And one of the things, very similar to yourself, I'm very passionate about communication and what our industry does. And also within a trade association, as you will know, with ISRI or other associations all around the world, that sometimes our members are saying, what are you actually doing for us? So we hired a communications consultancy and we've been working with them. And one of the projects that I felt really passionate about was that we would bring in a new member benefit, which was actually going backwards in that we were going to go to a hard copy magazine, which we're actually launching today. It's called the Recyclist.
I love the name.
And this will be going out to all members. I think it was posted yesterday, so it'll be landing on all the BIR member desks.
Well, congratulations.
This is a copy for you, John.
Oh, well, you're going to have to autograph it. Hang on to it. I'm going to have you autograph it. Well, that's fantastic. I think communications, look, this is what we're doing now. We have this podcast, I've did the docu-series. You got so many more people on social media. We're communicating now. And we got to get out the information because, it's crazy in the EU, okay? Most of the members of BIR, well, not most, but
48% are from the EU.
Okay, so 48% are affected by the new laws and regulations coming in about exporting recyclables is now being shut down because it's waste, and it's just crazy. It's a waste designation. I always say this, nobody would call gold waste. Why would you call copper or aluminum waste when I believe they're far more valuable to our daily lives, because without recycled iron, copper, aluminum, and paper, the medical field is not existent. The military complex doesn't exist. Our infrastructure doesn't exist. I would argue recycled iron actually has more value to the human daily life than gold. Yet They want to deem it waste. How's the fight going?
Yeah, well, we come under the EU waste shipment regulation, but we do have an end of waste criteria within Europe, which you can apply for, but it's very limited. For copper and its alloys, if it has less than 2% foreign materials within it, then you can apply to be an end of waste. And that end of waste criteria comes in at the point of recovery. So then we can export it as a product rather than as under waste. So they are slowly moving to it. And when you actually talk to the legislators within Europe, they always say, but what about, why aren't you using end of waste? Whenever we sort of argue about the waste shipments. The trouble with the end of waste is it's a very complex process. Each individual company has to apply for it. So they haven't brought in a blanket criteria for everyone.
Who determines what percentage of what takes a product from a commodity to a waste? I mean, even gold's not 100%, it's 99.99.
Exactly.
So who makes these rules, and where does science come in to debunk this?
Yes, I think that's something we're going to be having to work on a lot more, because with the end of waste, people weren't really availing of it. It came in about 2010, and as you say, it was a complex process, or it is a complex process. But it's now, because we have the waste shipment regulation changes, that whereas exports are going to have to stop, that we're going to now have to focus a lot more on end of waste criteria.
Well, that's a big fight, and that's one of the reasons why I believe the communications we're doing here in America, with putting out the docu-series Repurposed and everybody jumping in the game now, that I don't want this to happen here.
No.
We can't afford it. The country really, truly, our daily lives can't afford to be so over-regulated that the flow of the raw materials to the mills stops. People aren't going to be able to go to a hospital.
No, exactly.
So I think that, that's a big thing, and I think working together. So, working together, Tom, your predecessor, did brilliant job. And now you take over, and I've been in the place where I became a chairman of ISRI, but there was some unfinished business. What unfinished business, what needs to be resolved, completed, that was started under, Tom, or even for that before Tom, that you want to see get done so you can really move forward in your game plan?
Yeah, it was very unfortunate for Tom that he was president during COVID, and I think that was a real shame. He got greatly restricted by being president in COVID, though he did a fabulous job in uniting us all, and he really put the World Council of National Recycling Associations together. He really brought that back together. Mr. Bakshi, our predecessor, he started that with the bringing in the Global Recycling Day initiative that happens within BIR, and then Tom brought the actual associations together during COVID, and we've been working on a lot more on this, and I've been taking that a step further now that we're bringing out global position papers.
Okay.
So we've done our first global position paper. It is on EPR schemes. It's essential that recyclers are involved when an EPR scheme is being set up, and often in a lot of places that doesn't happen. So we really are focused on the EPR, but we worked with ISRI, we've got 39 national associations under the umbrella of BIR. And so we really worked, everyone had a say, and it's a common paper, which is really good. And the next one we're working on is for chemical recycling. So I'm carrying on what Tom started and putting my new spin on it.
But the cooperation, look, I'm a BIR member now because, first of all, I enjoy I've made friends. I've really enjoyed it. I learned things.
It's very sociable.
I see the cooperation between ISRI and BIR at an all-time high. I don't think I've ever seen such incredible, kind of like transparent, and we're truly working together and not letting ego get involved. Am I right? Am I feeling the right thing here?
Totally. We totally now are all working together. I don't think the collaboration between national associations has ever been so high, and I think we need to credit Tom for that. He started monthly online meetings for us all where we all met. I don't know if you know, I started off with the British Metals Recycling
Association.
Right, I know that. So,
I've
come through the ranks and I was involved with those meetings, and it's so beneficial for all of us around the world. And sometimes you feel isolated, even as a business owner or as a national association, and then when we all get together we all have similar problems. Like you were talking earlier, there's like staffing issues, and I'll go to a board meeting and everyone's got staffing issues. You're not
right.
alone.
So the one of the challenges that Tom had in my conversations was the breakout between the Ukrainian and the Russian war. Seems like we're sitting on a powder keg, and it's very difficult. So many of the members of BIR are in these areas that are troubled. It seems to me that the world can learn from how everybody can get along in a trade association. So how is that? What's your take on how you advance and making sure your members know that they can be part of the BIR, and with all the strife that's going on out there?
I think we all wish for peace. We don't want escalation of the troubles. I think one of the highlights for me from the Abu Dhabi conference that we had last October, which was just after the awful things that happened on October the 7th, was that I know that one of our Jewish members travelled in a car from Dubai with one of our members from Palestine, and they came together to the conference.
That's fantastic. See, I think those stories need to be highlighted more.
We leave politics at the door.
Yeah, you see, and I think that's where we can resolve some of these things. But it's a challenge.
Yes.
Look, anywhere there's a conflict, it's going to challenge an organization with members that may come from areas that are in conflict. But it seems to me, when I was there, some members from the U.S. did not travel because of what happened, and yet I never once felt out of place. It was still welcoming to me.
Yes, and that's, I don't wish to have politics brought into it. We've got such important work to do ourselves of raising the profile of our industry that we can't allow politics to come into it.
No. All right, so BIR, you guys, like you see this convention, it's really big, but you guys have grown your convention also. you're a victim of your success, because in the EU, there's not many places that can handle 2,000 people. So you're being limited. So now you've been in Abu Dhabi, you've been in Dubai, now we're going to Singapore, we're Copenhagen. So how's the challenge going? What are you guys working on?
Well, we're having to move to convention centres, so it isn't that we can't find places big enough to accommodate us, but in the past it was held within a large hotel. It was always a 5-star hotel, exceptional facilities. Now we're having to move to a convention centre. It'll still be as spectacular, it'll be wonderful setup, but we just have to have people have to stay in different hotels rather than everyone all in the same hotel.
That's a bit of a challenge, but
yes, it's a bit of a challenge, but we're working on it.
So what's your vision for the BIR conferences now? That you got the spring and you got the fall. What's your vision of your conference? What do you want to see happen at the BIR conferences?
The BIR conferences are very different to a National Association conference like ISRI, because people are coming here today, they're looking at the exhibits, they are going to the sessions for education purposes. With BIR, the people come predominantly to trade.
Okay.
As soon as you walk in, the noise is deafening. When you get in the lift, what are you selling? Paper, plastics, ferrous, non-ferrous.
Do you have any
People are asking
units?
straight away. So if you want to trade internationally, BIR is the place to be. It's a different concept. We have a small exhibitors area, which I would like to grow, but it's the people that are coming are really seriously coming to trade.
So yeah, there's more trading, people who do international trade, versus they're here, there are the traders, but there's a lot of individual companies that have operating facilities that are coming here to see. So that's a little bit of the difference.
Yeah,
and that's
we
something you
need
want to grow.
We need both things though, don't we?
Well, it makes for a larger but more vibrant, more opportunities. I mean, it's always, the more opportunities you have, the more opportunity. Maybe you can meet somebody to trade metal somewhere else, or paper, or a textile, whatever it be, or learned about some piece of equipment or technology being used in processing that can make your business more efficient. So yeah, I'm all about growing shows. I want it, to me, this is great.
Well, in the last 2 years, our membership has grown 25% anyway. So, we're really growing. I think a lot more people now are looking to trade internationally. They're getting more adventurous.
So tell us about Copenhagen. What do you have in store for us in Copenhagen?
Copenhagen, we have a wonderful keynote speaker. He's a guy called Jim Lawless. He's written a book called Taming Tigers. It's all about that voice in your head, and you probably have never heard it, John, but there's this voice that sometimes says to you, don't do that, don't do that.
Oh, I have that.
Should you be the one? Oh, why don't you let someone else do that? So John's coming to do our opening session, and he's going to talk to us how you overcome that little voice in your ear. So that should be a great boost to the session, give people the confidence to get out there into the facilities and trade.
Okay, what are the dates of the BIR?
It's the 27th to the 29th of May. Am I right, Anna?
All right, well, I get to spend my anniversary there then.
Oh, well, have a special cake for you, John.
No. Just tell me where a special restaurant is, we can go there. So
well, in our new magazine, we actually have a feature all about Copenhagen, good places to eat.
Fantastic.
Where to stay, what you can do, other activities. So this is the point of our magazine. It's purely about BIR and what BIR are doing, and past conventions, upcoming conventions.
And then in the fall, Singapore.
Singapore, yes.
I went to Singapore, was it 2012 or 2011 Singapore, last time BIR was in Singapore?
No, I think we were there in 17.
Was it?
Yeah,
I missed that one. A graduation. I had graduations. That's why I didn't go. So I'm actually looking forward to going back over there. Anything too early to tell what you got planned there?
Yes, we've got some good sessions. I know Ferris have got some really good speakers already planned, because as you know, we do typically commodity sessions, which is slightly different to Israel. I know you do have your commodity, your spotlights, but also our plenary sessions, and we don't have so many of the educational classes. So yeah, it's going to be good, but we're focusing at the moment on Copenhagen.
All right, so it's my hope that some people in the BIR listen to this podcast. What do they need to know about you? You're the president, but what do they need to know about you that you really want to communicate with them?
What you see is what you get. If you want to speak to me, please come and speak to me. I hope that I'm approachable. I like to lead by example, so I hope any women that have aspirations to take a leadership role, that they will see what I've achieved and they will do the same. My company is a small company, so as Stephen Moss said this morning in the opening session, by being part of a trade association, you can do the most fabulous things. You don't have to be from a multinational organization.
Right. I agree with that. And I think that, look, it's been a male-dominated industry. There's no question. But there's a whole lot more women. You're seeing more and more. I see it at ISRI.
I think they're just becoming more visible. I think we were always there. Perhaps maybe we were in the back room. We were always doing the admin, but now the admin is probably the most important part of the industry, so we're having to take the lead.
Well, there's some women doing some great work. I met Caroline, her last name's from
Brainholes?
Yeah. Wow, what a powerful woman.
Yes, she's running the Belgium scrap terminal.
Right, a tremendous, her father just passed.
Yes.
So now she's in charge. I mean, that's a big outfit. Very well respected outfit, and now she's in charge. But
yes.
she was. I met her, and she's somebody who's working with you too on your communications, right?
Yes, we're going to bring out a new project which we'll announce in Copenhagen, so everyone have to wait.
Oh, so more unveiling.
More unveiling.
Yeah, we're going to unveil a new name here, ISRI, coming up here on Thursday, and more unveiling in Copenhagen.
More unveiling, but today's unveiling is the Recyclist.
I think this is great, and I love the color. I love the name because I've always said, I use it a lot in my post. I always say our industry, we are the original environmentalist because it makes you are a person actually working towards something. A Recyclist, I love the name. We are people getting the work of recycling done.
And I must give the credit for the name to Ibrahim Abora, who is the communications chair of BIR.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Susie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to go to Copenhagen. I've never been there. And so I'm really looking forward to spending time and getting to know. And as you know, I want to help in communications with BIR whichever way I can. Because,
yeah, we're very excited to have you with us.
These platforms and getting out there and talking about what we do and the good that we are to the world. That's what I want to do.
And I really want to thank you for what you've been doing. I absolutely love Repurposed. You won't know this, the other day I sent John a short video of my godson making his own version of Repurposed, holding up a aluminium or aluminum wheel, I should say, in my yard. And he's saying, I want it turned into a fighter pilot's plane.
Well, you know what? But here's something important. We get the youth starting talking about that. Think about when they get to be, when they graduate or they don't graduate college and they're in our industry. They'll know what we do. So many people don't know what we do. So I encourage them, tell them to get out there. I told them, what did I tell you to say? Tell them,
slow down,
and smile.
And do 5 more.
And do 5 more.
He's going to do you 5 more, they'll be in the post.
All right, well, Susie, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Susie Burrage, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been a Sierra International Machinery original audio series. Thanks for listening. Please share this podcast and make sure to subscribe.